My body was completely seized up. Pull over in that parking lot, call an ambulance. I'm not going to make it. And these will be my last conscious thoughts on this planet, and I can't talk.
I'm Bowman with Business Highlights, and today I have the pleasure to have David Kings here at SOWAL House. David, thank you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me in your SOWAL House, beautiful studio.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much for coming by. I've really been looking forward to this interview.
I'm looking forward not just to this interview, but I'm looking forward to expose your beautiful story and this amazing concept to the world, and let our audience really, what is SOWAL House? So what is SOWAL House?
Yeah, I mean, that is the question that we've been working really doggone hard to answer for months now. So we acquired this space in January of 2021, and we just finished, or got to the production side of finished as of September 1. So I would like to say that SOWAL House is born on September 1st, 2021. We're coming up on the end of October, so we've effectively been open for about 2 months now. But SOWAL House is just, simply put, it's a soundstage. So we're a full-time creative media company where everything that we produce as a media company, our goal is to either own it or partially own 100% of the content that gets created.
But let me ask you this. Now, you're coming from New York.
Right.
What did you do in New York a little bit prior coming here? That would be a question that I would like to ask you, and then we'll go into the next one.
Sure. Okay. I see where this is going. So, we moved down here from New York by way of Atlanta. So I worked as a technology director for a hedge fund in New York for about a decade or so before moving into management consulting work, specifically risk management consulting, and then the niche inside of risk management consulting was cybersecurity risk management consulting.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I did that for a number of years in Atlanta.
See, I didn't know that part, so I'm glad I asked.
Yeah. So if there were between, I would say, 2010 and 2014 or 15, if there were a major breach that you read about in the headlines, there's a very high likelihood that I was in the office with the C-level executives and the boards of directors, walking them through the remediation processes for that type of data breach or cybersecurity breach.
Wow.
Right? That's
complex.
It's really heavy stuff. It really is heavy stuff. We called most of our engagements pants on fire engagements.
Wow.
Right? So everyone's running around like crazy. And at PwC, I was known as one of the smoke jumpers that would, they would just kind of like throw me out of an airplane at a very large business and say, go in there and help these people.
But you knew how to pull that parachute, though.
I knew how to pull the parachute. I knew how to land. Most of the time, it worked out pretty well. But as you said, like these are very large, very complex engagements. So I just became obsessed with becoming financially independent. And so my whole goal that I was driving towards was hitting financial independence by the time that I was 40. Unfortunately, I made it a little late, so I earned financial independence, if you will, by the time that I was 42. Not necessarily by earning a lot of money, but by like hampering down a lot of my spending. But that drive that I spent, pretty much the entire decade of my 30s to 40s was 120-hour work weeks to achieve financial independence so that I don't have to answer to anyone or do anything that I don't want to do for the rest of my life.
Would you say that you reached a burnout at some point?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was like the last 2 years of me being, employed. Like I was rapidly hitting burnout, but I knew that I had to just kind of keep the fires burning so that when I hit independence, I'll be good from there. But the struggle is when you work 120 hours a week and you go hard stop from that type of work lifestyle to paddleboarding. It's a huge adjustment that I was not prepared for. So I actually developed a panic attack disorder directly as a result, and it became like a real serious medical condition to the point that I was experiencing respiratory alkalosis, which is when you get,
Wow.
yeah, it's actually a very, very painful thing. It's where you get drunk on oxygen because your body, you just forget to exhale, right? And it causes these extremely painful tingling sensations, almost like when your leg goes to sleep, when your arm goes to sleep, right?
Yeah.
But it happens throughout your whole body. So I told my wife, let's go to the ER. I'm having a heart attack. This is a real thing.
You
right?
see my eyes are going bigger now, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I am a bit...
Yeah. So she, put me in the car and we're driving, we're hauling ass down the road, trying to get to the ER, and the tingling sensations got to the point where, and I'll never forget it. It was a real life-changing event that I realized, okay, I'm about to pass out, and I don't have words left. My body was completely seized up.
Wow.
So I said, pull over in that parking lot. Call an ambulance. I'm not going to make it. I've got seconds left of conscious thought, and these will be my last conscious thoughts on this planet, and I can't talk, right?
Wow.
So it was like this real, near-death, out-of-body experience that really completely changed my life certainly for the better. So my wife pulls into this parking lot as I'm having these thoughts. She was already on the phone with 911. Fortunately, there was an EMT that was driving down the road that took the call, so it was a matter of seconds before they pulled into the parking lot. Chuck, who was the EMT, opens the passenger door, sees me all seized up, and he says, first words to me, right? He says, "You're not having a heart attack. I'm not going to let you die. In fact, I'm not going to put you in that ambulance. Wow. I'm going to talk you out of this."
Wow,
and I was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, so this is okay.
That's great.
I will listen to this guy. Sounds like it's for my best benefit, right? And I was on the verge of passing out as he was telling me this, so it couldn't have come at a better time. So he just walked me through the series of breathing exercises. And again, respiratory alkalosis happens when you're drunk on oxygen. So you're inhaling and you're forgetting to exhale. And when you panic, what do? You inhale, and then you hold it in, and then you inhale more. So he just walked me through these breathing exercises. And inside of 5 minutes, I was walking around the car, and I was having a conversation with him. And I'll never forget the temperature that it was outside.
I'm smiling because I'm happy to hear
it was fantastic.
The good
so
outcome.
Chuck asked me. He said, "So do you mind if I ask what you do for a living?" And I was like, "Well, And he said, "Do you have a stressful job?" And I said, "Well, actually, I don't have a stressful job. I retired a few months ago." And he looked at me kind of blank face, and I'm a little bit younger than most people are when they move to Florida and retire. So he said, "I knew," and this is the kicker, he said, "I knew exactly what you had by looking at you because I answer 2 to 3 calls a week from someone that is suffering from respiratory alkalosis, and it's always people that have recently retired and moved down here."
Interesting.
So he was like, "So that's why I asked, what do you do for a living, right?" It's like, I was not expecting you to say retire, but he's like, "I'm going to give you this piece of advice that I've learned taking these calls 2 to 3 times a week from recently retired people." He said that your career has been tied to your identity. And you're one of these people that your career, unfortunately, will always be tied to your identity. Because you've retired, now you get to pick a new career. So he said, if I have any advice to give you, it's going to be pick a career that you want to tie to your identity. And for me, that changed everything. And that's how SOWAL House was born. So we decided to go all in, and let's create a very well-funded studio that doesn't have to earn revenue at all.
Well, what type of content do you focus on SOWAL here? Let's tell the audience. What do you...
Absolutely. So we have, under development right now, we have 3 key products that are under development. The first is just a simple audio podcast called SOWAL Creatives, or Creatives at SOWAL House. That whole product is dedicated to shining the spotlight on those entrepreneurs. Now, the second product that we have in development is called Drinks at SOWAL House. And this
Fun one.
This one's
That's a
fun.
fun
This
one.
one's fun. And I've got to have you on this because we're bringing in some of the best wine sommeliers.
Do I have to be on my best behavior?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
We encourage bad behavior.
Oh, that one. Okay, I thought for a second you said absolutely yes.
No, we absolutely encourage semi-bad behavior on Drinks at SOWAL House. Absolutely. And then Sessions at SOWAL House is something that's always been very passionate. Music's always been, I've just been very passionate about it and the craft of songwriting. So Sessions at SOWAL House is really geared towards inviting, 30 of our friends and family every month or so to come check out a world-class artist. The interesting thing about Sessions is that we don't charge admission for it, and we don't charge, obviously we're not a bar, so we don't charge for drinks either. I get a little crazy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Crazy, it's actually a definition that I could dive in, and that should be a topic we should talk about. What is really crazy?
Yeah.
But what would you tell the people that are watching about your experience and the soul and everything you share? What would be let's say a sentence, paragraph, or a short message where you can inspire and capture all in one message? What would you tell them?
Well, my first pearl of wisdom is don't have near-death experiences. Avoid them if at all humanly possible, right? My second piece of advice is to always, always, always have a side hustle. Not just a side hustle, but have a side hustle where revenue from that side hustle is just a byproduct, right? So just focus on creating something that's unique and something that you care about. And it's not even like Field of Dreams mentality. Just focus on the creative aspect of this hustle, this side hustle that you're trying to build, and give yourself the freedom to allow revenue to be a byproduct of that business. And you'll know whether or not that business is successful to where you can quit your day job and move on to that business when in fact revenue becomes the byproduct. I've seen time and time again where the letting revenue be a byproduct approach, you wind up making more revenue from your side hustle than you ever could have humanly possibly imagined, and it winds up taking over your full-time job as well. So you get success, reward, and fulfillment, the trifecta. You get them all three at the same time.
I'm very grateful for your story and sharing with me vulnerabilities and, of course, the experiences of your success and where you are today. What is your next event? And tell the audience where do we look out for you?
So you can find us on social media by checking out our Instagram account at SOWAL House, our Facebook page at SOWAL House, or our website, which is just simply www.sowalhouse.com. Also be sure to check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to it. It's a fledgling channel right now, but we have a lot of great content that's going to be coming to it. And that's just as easy as searching for SOWAL House on YouTube.
Thank you, David. This was amazing. I really felt special. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone, thank you so much for watching. We're so grateful for your support. So go ahead and click that share button. And who knows, maybe somebody out there may be inspired from David's advice or suggestion, his journey. We look forward to seeing you next time. Signing out, Bowman.